Yes, and we'll see you back here with more news tonight at 6.
See you then.
On World News Tonight, this Wednesday, Hurricane Bonnie hits the Carolina coast. Furious winds, torrential rains, massive waves.
I'm stuck. You can't get off now. I left my truck up at the shop so I wouldn't worry about it flooding, and I'm just going to have to ride it out.
It's home. I don't want to leave. I'll pay the consequences no matter what it is.
Tracking Bonnie, minute by minute, with the people who are under pressure to figure out where the storm will go next. And a dire prediction, 20 years of bad hurricanes. We'll take a closer look.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Sitting in tonight, Forrest Sawyer.
Good evening. Hurricane Bonnie has blown ashore near Cape Fear, North Carolina, causing property damage, power outages, and swamping roads. Here's how Bonnie looks right near the center of the storm. It has slowed over land, moving only about 5 miles per hour now, which means the area around the storm center could be battered by fierce rain for as long as 36 hours. Sustained winds are reported at around 115 miles per hour, gusts up to 130. We have several reports from up and down the coast, as well as a look at where the storm is likely to move next. We begin at Ground Zero, Wilmington, North Carolina, with ABC's Rebecca Chase. Rebecca?
Forrest, I'm here on the banks of the Cape Fear River, which is rising rapidly. This slowdown of Hurricane Bonnie is very bad news here because there's been virtually no let-up in the intensity. It's going to be a very long night, and it's already been a long day. First light brought the first strong winds. By 10 o'clock, winds intensified. Rain came down in sheets and water covered piers and roadways. On the coast, waves crashed violently, pushed by the first hurricane-force winds. As the eye headed towards Wilmington, the Baker family, like many families here, chose to ride out the storm in their boarded-up home. With no power, a weather radio was a vital source of information.
Dangerous wind gusts from the east as high as 100 miles an hour.
The Bakers have gone through hurricanes before, but Estelle Baker says it never gets any easier.
It's very intimidating, and yes, it does make me nervous. The sound of the wind really unnerves me.
Estelle's friend, Rachel Christopher, anxiously watched as the wind buffeted trees and blew debris down the street.
Are you a little nervous? It's a little scary?
Yeah, I'm apprehensive because I can see the power of the storm and the damage it could do.
The Bakers are especially worried about the damage to the restaurant they own on the waterfront across from their home. That's one of the reasons they didn't want to leave.
I guess it's kind of like leaving a child or leaving something you don't ever want to do it. You know, you have to sit here. Not that there's anything you can do to protect it.
By early afternoon, the leading edge of the eye of the hurricane brought some of the strongest winds of the day. Trees toppled. Electrical transformers were popping. Power lines came down. Not an easy time for families.
At times it can be very scary because, of course, I have 4 children.
25 miles from Wilmington, Bonnie ripped the roof off a community hospital. No one was injured, but patients in critical condition had to be taken to other hospitals. Late this afternoon, the eye approached downtown Wilmington and stalled, but continued to build in strength. For residents, this just prolongs the agony of the storm. This slowdown of Bonnie means that it will be here through the night and even tomorrow. That means another night in darkened homes and shelters and hours of this driving wind and rain. Emergency crews are here and ready to go to work if Bonnie will ever leave. Forrest?
Becky, I know that for the folks in Wilmington, this is bringing back unpleasant memories of Hurricane Fran back in 1996. How do you compare it? Is this one worse?
Well, they've certainly learned the lessons from Fran, and they seem much better prepared and coordinated this time around. And while Bonnie is a Category 3 storm, just like Fran was, in fact, because it's hanging around so long, it may very well end up to be far more damaging for
Rebecca
us.
Chase around Wilmington, North Carolina. Go find someplace dry. Rebecca, thanks a lot. Well, 500,000 people may have evacuated the hardest hit parts of the coast, but as always, there are still a few who simply refuse to leave no matter what the danger. The question is, why? ABC's Steve Osunsami is in Atlantic Beach near Morehead City, North Carolina.
At noon, high winds forced Atlantic Beach detective Dave Morris to close the bridge between the island and the mainland, one of the last roads to inland safety. But there are people left behind, determined to stay. Harry Rippey owns the pier on the outer shore and decided to ride out the storm so he can make quick repairs to protect his business.
Well, I need to stay here because it's so long, it takes me so long to get back across this bridge after they close it, and I need to stay and assess the damage that I have from it.
By tomorrow morning, people here will have a better idea of what they have left, and according to forecasters, it's the flooding that will do the most harm. That's one reason why Tony Hill and his family are carefully watching the ocean from the beach motel they've owned for years. They hope to keep rising waters from destroying the business.
You know, what happens, happens, and just try to deal with it the best you can. Try to save what you can save, and that's all you can do.
Late this afternoon, the storm took out power lines that serve the entire island. So tonight, both Rippey and Hill will have to hold their own in a city even firefighters say is too dangerous to navigate. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlantic Beach, North Carolina.
Let's move on up the Carolina coast. The damage there is not as bad yet, but the few people left on the string of barrier islands known as the Outer Banks are waiting, and they are certainly preparing. ABC's Bill Redeker is in Nags Head, North Carolina. Bill.
Forrest, the barrier islands form a narrow strip of land and bridges that run parallel down the coast for hundreds of miles. They are therefore exposed to the fury of the storm on both sides. Now today, because Bonnie is taking so long in getting here, local officials had a welcome opportunity to get out on the island to see who is here and who is not.
From one end of the Outer Bank to the other, it was mostly deserted today. Gone were more than 250,000 tourists who abandoned thousands of vacation rental homes. In the coastal community of Kill Devil Hills, firemen searched for those who stayed behind.
Calm before the storm, you know what I mean?
I noticed a lot of houses aren't boarded up.
The tourists may have fled, but about 3,000 of the people who live here year-round are still here. In Nags Head, James Fens, his wife Wanda, and their 5 children stayed behind. They stocked up on 3 days' worth of supplies and nailed down everything that could be blown away.
Basically take care of the outside of the building so that we'll be safe inside. Right here, we got everything totally covered. There's no exposed windows. Cover the door locks up because they'll get sandblasted.
Farther down the barrier island in Rodanthe, well known for its world-class surfing, there were other stragglers, but no takers. Not even the most experienced surfer here would challenge these 10-foot waves.
The wave's too big and the wind's blowing too hard right now.
Too dangerous?
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy.
More than anything else, flooding is what worries people here the most. They expect the storm will back up the water in the Sound between the Outer Bank and the mainland, causing serious flooding, making it impossible for anyone to get out.
That danger will be at its peak tonight and early tomorrow morning, when the full fury of the storm that is now battering the coast in the south arrives here in the north. Forrest?
Bill Redeker at a deceptively calm Nags Head. Thank you, Bill. Now, former director of the National Hurricane Center, Bob Sheets, now an ABC News consultant, joins us again tonight from Orlando. And if you would, once again, Bob, provide us with some grounding. Where is the storm going? What do you see it up to next?
Well, Forrest, we've had some little disturbing news here this afternoon because the storm really slowed down. Even though the core is not as strong as a Hugo or Andrew or anything like that, it slowed down considerably. And in fact, it may take another day or two before it moves off of North Carolina and may even a little loop. In 1884, we had the hurricane out there, Diana, that sort of looped there. And so that means we're going to have a very extended period of 24 to 48 hours where this storm is still going to be around, a lot of flooding, a lot of beach erosion.
Well, Governor Hunt of North Carolina has already expressed a lot of concern that the storm has stalled. That means it's just going to sit there and continue to pound the very same region.
Exactly right, Forrest, and that's, of course, makes it much more difficult to forecast what's going to happen. We had expected this whole front over here to pick it on out and take it out, but it may be flattening out and it may stall there and just loop right around over the eastern part of North Carolina. Happened before 1984.
This time we'll hope for the best. Bob Sheets in Orlando. Thanks again, Bob.
Thank you.
Now, the concern about Hurricane Bonnie does extend far to the north. The military has moved 300 planes and 80 ships out of its path, one of the largest redeployments since the Gulf War. Most of those planes are now all the way over in Ohio. Beaches are closed. Swimmers are being kept out of the water as far north as Massachusetts. You can see the strength of the storm they're worried about at an amusement park in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, you might think that Ferris wheel is running. It is not. It's actually being blown by the wind. We'll be back in a minute with more on the storm. When the forecast could make the difference between life and death, what is it like to make the call?
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Transitions Lenses.
The sun is rising. See it shine, shine. Looks like a great day. See it shine.
It's a great day for the comfort and convenience of changing tint Transitions lenses. Indoors, they lighten. Outdoors, they darken. So lightweight plastic Transitions lenses are right in any light. Make the change to Transitions lenses and see for yourself.
It's a great day.
Transitions lenses, right in any light and right for you.
Now's the time to discover the great selection of 1998 Oldsmobile cars and trucks available at Discover Days. Consider the Bravada. Its exclusive SmartTrack system automatically adjusts to changing road conditions. Now receive our lowest financing of the year at 0.9% and enjoy over $3,000 in finance savings. Or for a limited time, receive $2,500 cash back on the Bravada. Discover Days with 0.9% financing on all 98 Oldsmobiles at your Oldsmobile dealer now.
Do you have
I love you.
a love-hate relationship with dairy food?
Whipped cream.
Discover Lactate Ultra. Take it with your first bite. It's a natural food supplement that helps you avoid stomach discomfort before it starts, so you can enjoy every bit of dairy. Lactate Ultra.
The sheer magnitude of Hurricane Bonnie is certainly striking. This is an enormous storm, 400 miles across, about the size of Kansas, which means its destructive impact will be felt far beyond the storm's center. Bonnie's a Category 3 hurricane with heavy rain and winds between 112 and 131 miles per hour. Category 3 storms typically cause extensive damage to trees, power lines, and smaller structures, especially mobile homes. Bonnie is hitting the coast dead on, which means devastating walls of water as high as 12 feet. And when a massive storm like this one hits, everyone along the coast needs to know as best they can how strong it is, where it may turn next. It is life-saving information. Getting it out is a job at the National Hurricane Center in Miami. ABC's Bob Woodruff has just spent a very tense 24 hours there.
Two different numbers.
Late Tuesday afternoon at the National Hurricane Center in Miami.
I got nice round numbers here. I've got 31-0, 76-5. 250 miles south of Cape Lookout.
For days, this team of a dozen scientists has worked around the clock tracking Bonnie. But only now can they begin to say where she's going.
I think it's going to curve north, and again, the eastern part of North Carolina.
What is decided here will affect evacuation and rescue plans up and down the East Coast. Many lives and billions of dollars are at stake.
Not much time, and you need to go ahead.
Reporters in the next room are critical to getting the word out.
If you're supposed to evacuate, if you live close to the coast and you're supposed to evacuate, do it.
The scientists rely on sophisticated computers and satellite imagery to make their predictions, but it's not an exact science.
We're getting people nervous. It hasn't turned. They expect, exactness, precision. And we're trying to be precise, but we can't. We can't be perfect.
2 o'clock this morning, the hurricane appears to have made a dangerous turn west. It could hit land sooner than they had thought.
I'm going to extend the warnings from the hurricane warnings from Cape Romaine down to Edisto Beach.
What makes this job even more difficult is that in addition to Bonnie, there is another powerful hurricane named Danielle coming in along the same path, just a few days behind.
Big news is Danielle got even stronger overnight.
But the forecasters still can't tell where Danielle will land. So at 9 o'clock this morning, the focus is on Bonnie, the eye just 110 miles from the coast. Does this hurricane worry you in its intensity and size?
It does. It's going to do damage.
4 o'clock, the hurricane slams ashore. Now they must predict where the storm will turn next. You worry about being right or wrong?
Yes, they're people's lives. So that's and people in danger.
And when Bonnie passes, there will be more hurricanes. The season has just begun. Bob Woodruff, ABC News, Miami.
And here's the latest on the next one. Danielle, it's about 600 miles east of St. Martin in the Leeward Islands. It is getting weaker. Late this afternoon, winds dropped to about 85 miles per hour. We'll be back in a moment with some of the day's other news, including a decision by Attorney General Janet Reno about an investigation of Vice President Gore.
Beep, bop, Brummel and Brown. It's sweeping the town with the creamy taste of butter. And like no other, it's blended with the goodness of yogurt. It tastes like butter, said Bonnie to her brother. But there's less fat in Brummel and Brown. Bill shouts bingo, Barb says bravo. Bridget told Brian and Beth about Brummel and Brown.
Why are so many people going bonkers over Brummel and Brown spread? Must be that creamy taste of butter blended with the wholesome goodness of yogurt. Save a bundle on Brummel and Brown with the coupon in Sunday's paper.
Great meal. Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster. Hey, want to go for ice cream? Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
It's back, and this time there's something new. Now there's a wind tunnel that's self-propelled.
Nobody
New self-propelled wind tunnels.
Since I made my chocolate chip cookies better than ever, everyone's talking.
I don't know how you made them better, but you did. They're the bestest ever.
Thank you.
These new cookies rock.
Thanks, dude.
Wow, they're even better than before.
I hear ya.
Pillsbury's best chocolate chip cookies ever. Hot and fresh in only 15 minutes.
Would you like one? Woohoo!
I have the cleanest and nicest smelling toilet in the neighborhood.
Since I started using Vanish hang-ins, the toilet bowls stay completely clean. The fact that it delivers bleach to the bowl is terrific.
My scrubbing days are over.
Real easy to use.
Drop the tablet in the dispenser, hang it on the side of the tank.
Boom, you're done.
Vanish hang-ins deliver more bleach to your bowl than Clorox.
There's no stains.
No scrubbing. No rings. Like magic. Ta-da!
Vanish hang-ins. More bleach to the bowl.
If anybody doesn't believe me, ring my doorbell and you can smell my toilet.
In Washington today, new legal worries for the executive branch, and this time it's Vice President Gore. Attorney General Janet Reno has stepped up the investigation into whether Gore broke the law while raising money for the 1996 campaign. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
Reno has decided to order a 90-day preliminary inquiry into whether an independent counsel should investigate the vice president's fundraising calls. At issue, did Gore make calls on federal property to raise so-called soft money, money to help the Democratic Party? That would be legal. Or did he solicit hard money, money to help himself and Bill Clinton get reelected? That would be legally questionable. Gore seemed out of danger until last month when investigators obtained notes written by a former Gore aide during a campaign meeting. The aide wrote 65% soft, 35% hard. He also quotes the vice president as saying, "Count me in on the calls." Reno's Republican critics will be satisfied only if she goes the next step and asks for an independent counsel to explore all campaign finance allegations.
I get fussed at one way and I get cussed at another way, and I'm never going to be Miss Popularity in this business.
Gore may still avoid what every Washington politician fears, an independent counsel. Reno has indicated Gore should probably not be prosecuted unless there is evidence of aggravating circumstances, such as pressuring federal workers to contribute.
But Reno's decision to keep the controversy alive is still politically embarrassing for a vice president who wants to appear squeaky clean at a time when his boss does not. John Cochran, ABC News, Washington.
Also in Washington today, Attorney General Janet Reno ordered a Justice Department review of evidence from the Martin Luther King assassination to examine whether James Earl Ray acted alone in the killing. That falls short of the National Commission requested by the King family. Overseas tonight, the Libyan government has accepted a proposal by the U.S. and Britain to try the two Libyans suspected in the bombing of Pan Am 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland 10 years ago. The proposal calls for the suspects to be turned over to the Netherlands and tried there in front of a panel of Scottish judges. In Russia tonight, a growing sense of panic over the nation's financial crisis. The ruble, Russia's currency, dropped another 5% against the dollar today. That's a full 40% in the past week and a half. And now the government is saying it can no longer afford to prop the ruble up in further trading, which has prompted fears of a financial bloodbath tomorrow. The turmoil pushed stocks down worldwide, including on Wall Street, where the Dow Jones Industrials lost more than 79 points. to close at 85.23. On the NASDAQ market, stocks were down 30 points. When we come back, a long-range hurricane prediction that is bound to cause some very big worries. We'll take a closer look.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need help. Not just any help. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and keeps on working for 24 hours. And Zyrtec works against so many allergies, from cats and dogs to pollen and dust. So when allergies are a nightmare, and when are they not? Remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Others included fatigue and dry mouth. Most side effects were mild or moderate. Most people weren't bothered by them enough to stop taking Zyrtec. To learn more, look for an ad in Life magazine or ask your doctor or pharmacist.
Marty's here. Okay, let's see a fuel injector for a Ford Probe.
Multiport?
It's too easy. How about a gasket for a Yugo?
With sealer?
EGR valve for 74 Gremlin. Ah! See you tomorrow, Marty.
Get 4 of our 35,000-mile tires. Any size, only $99. Or double your mileage with 4 70,000-mile tires, just $169.
Pep Boys. Cars like us.
People love us.
That the party of the first part did not intend for the party of the second.
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
So, this is it, huh? You're off to college.
Yeah.
Pretty high-tech stuff you got here.
Yeah, but the guy at Staples explained everything on the body.
Good. Well, good luck.
Isn't Mom gonna say goodbye?
She's still up in your room getting used to the idea.
Well, I love you, Dad.
He's gone. What do you think?
Only 9.5 feet. We're gonna need 10 for the hot tub.
Well, this wall's gonna have to come down.
Staples has compact computers and 7,000 supplies at a guaranteed low price. Staples, yeah, we've got that.
Our closer look tonight is at a troubling prediction that affects the North Carolina coast and anywhere at risk of hurricanes that develop in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, you may have heard that forecasters are saying the La Nina pattern is likely to make this a bad year for hurricanes. Well, it gets worse. There is also a prediction that we are already in the midst of 2 decades of bad hurricane seasons. Here's ABC's Bill Blakemore.
Though he lives and works in the Colorado Rockies, far from any hurricanes, Professor Bill Gray is famous for predicting hurricane seasons. And what he and his colleagues now say is that we'd better get ready for much more of what's facing us today along the coast of North Carolina.
The probability of major landfall of major storms along the southeast coast is going to go way up.
Scientists have discovered 20-year cycles in which major hurricanes are much more frequent. Gray says we entered one of these cycles in 1995.
1995 and 6 were the 2 most active consecutive hurricane years we've ever had.
1997 was quiet because it was an El Nino year, which always means fewer Atlantic hurricanes. But 98 already appears to be a return to the predicted more active cycle.
We're going to see hurricane damage more than we've ever previously seen it, and that's a very ominous outlook.
Gray's successful predictions are not made by computers.
The atmosphere is too complex for...
Scientists have found so many factors that affect hurricane seasons. They say even a computer as big as the Earth could never compute all the possible combinations.
We understand some of it, but we don't understand it all, and nobody does.
The basic method Bill Gray uses for predicting hurricane seasons is to study the past. He compares bad hurricane seasons of the past to see what they might have in common. One of the things he's found is salt. When North Atlantic water is saltier, bad hurricanes are more frequent. They're also more frequent in years when West Africa has more rain, and when Mid-Atlantic water is warmer, and when water north of Australia is cooler. All these global signs reappeared in 1995 after a lull of 20 years. And it foreshadows enormous damage, because during that lull, construction along the East Coast has exploded.
There's been such a buildup of people and property values along the coast. Florida is a sitting duck.
For example, if the 1926 hurricane that hit Miami did so today, it would do an estimated $60 billion in damage. So for the next couple of decades, says Gray, coastal property owners and their insurance companies should batten down the hatches. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yeah, that looks pretty rough. We'll be back in a moment with the final word.
If you wear store brand undergarments, here's important news from Depend.
Lunchtime. I can't. I've got too much to do. Nonsense. You're going. But my hair. I'll do it in the car.
Only Depend has Absorblock for the best Depend protection against leaks. Leading store brand undergarments are 50% more likely to leak than Depend.
June Allison.
Depend, because you've got a lot of
living to do.
Fibercon or Metamucil, both have fiber for regularity. But I like Fibercon better.
Same natural action of fiber, but only Fibercon contains calcium.
And with Fibercon, I get my fiber in 2 caplets.
Fibercon, fiber and calcium in a convenient caplet.
The amazing Hefty One-Zip food bag. It clicks closed to lock in freshness.
The little guy's got spunk.
One-Zip, the Hefty Duty food bag.
The best way to stop suffering from allergies is never to start. This is Nasal Crown. You heard right. Nasal Crown. It's allergy prevention. Nasal Crown doesn't just relieve allergies. It flat out prevents them, preventing the natural defenses in your nose from going haywire. So you can live like a person with no allergies. Nasal Crown's like nothing else. No drowsiness, no jitters, no rebound congestion. Nasal Crown. The best way to stop suffering is never to start.
Tonight, an anguished father finds his son lost 14 years ago to a secret religious sect called the Garbage Eaters. Can he get him back?
If we get through to him and he leaves the church, to him, he's going to hell.
Primetime tonight.
Now a brief review of our lead story, Hurricane Bonnie. The storm has come ashore near Cape Fear, North Carolina, and it is damaging homes, causing power outages, flooding roads. Sustained winds reported at 115 miles per hour. Up and down the Carolina coast, people have been evacuated. And worse, the storm is slowing down, which forecasters say means it could batter the Carolinas for the next day or even 2 days. And we'll be watching. That's our report on World News Tonight. Keep up with the latest on Hurricane Bonnie on Primetime Live and later on Nightline. I'm Forrest Sawyer. For all of us here at ABC News, a very good night.
Tomorrow, what's going on here? When hurricanes strike, why does the government help some and let others fend for themselves? Watch ABC's World News Tonight.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.
I wanna be loved by Louis.
Hey, baby. What's long and red and right behind you?
Just Louis and nobody else but Louis.
Kissing is just pressing your lips to the sweet end of 66 feet of intestines.
Louis, only on Drew, tonight, followed by Whose Line Is It Anyway?
This is News 2 at 6.
Right now, what we do have is the upper part of the skull.
A new break in a 2-year-old missing persons case.
Also, only on 2, one of the governor's top pilots is punished for a questionable call in midair.
But first, Hurricane Bonnie batters the North Carolina coast, packing winds of more than 115 miles an hour. Right now, Bonnie is pounding the Atlantic coast.
Whipping wind